Okay, we're live now.
Now we're live.
Yep. So, well,
So you wanna go through the whole routine of pledge allegiance and all that stuff,
do
or
we have to? No.
don't have to? Just call the meeting to order.
We'll just call the meeting to order at 4:35.
November 1st,
Yeah, November 1st.
so, okay.
Quorum is established. Okay.
So this is a budget workshop.
There's a budget workshop for the 2023 budget.
Before we actually start going through the numbers, I was gonna ask you, and I just, to get a feel for what our goal is here. Is our goal to stay under the tax cap, or is it to do whatever we need for the budget and whatever the increase is, it is? I mean, right now, according to this budget that's proposed, the tax increase is like $2.25 per thousand above what it was last year.
Yeah, 225, it is.
So
Yeah.
at that rate, I mean, so somebody's got a $100,000 house, that means their taxes go up $225. Somebody's got
Yes.
$200,000 property, they'll go up $450.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, okay, just so I wanted to make sure we weren't looking at a target that we were trying to get the tax rate to.
No,
Okay.
I did it from expenses up and then plugged in revenue, and I prefer not to use fund balance this time around.
Yep, I
And
understand.
put us where it is a realistic, accurate, budget of what we need.
I agree. I mean, I think that routinely using fund balance to balance your budget is not a good practice. I mean, we did it last year because we had no option really,
Right.
without facing a huge tax increase.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not something we should be doing year after year, so I agree with that. I still maintain, and I think we need to have a conversation separate from our budget workshop, that our fund balance, we need to start creating reserve accounts. I know we have investment accounts, but I think we need to identify specific ones or specific amounts for various things, whether it be the garage or equipment or whatever, because I'm pretty concerned that at some point the comptroller's office is gonna, if we get audited, we're gonna get dinged for having too large of a fund balance that's not designated for specific things. Right. I mean, having it in the investment accounts is good, but I think those investment accounts should be identified as a reserve account. And I think there's a process we need to go through to create,
To
identify them,
Mhm.
exactly.
as that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a
Just so
separate
we don't
subject,
end
so,
up with one time here missing.
what's that?
Where's the balance was before they ate it away?
Oh, yeah, I had that. $800 and something thousand was for the highway garage.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
And then with a resolution and a public hearing.
This is why I
Yep,
don't.
it
Disappeared.
It got wiped out, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so tonight, what you wanna do is go through line by
Through it,
line.
yeah.
Do you have a,
Well, one
specific
thing is,
order or
one thing
whatever.
that's gonna significantly increase it are the payments that we have, because we have coming up, we're paying off the garbage truck, that's 55,000 plus. We're paying off the second truck they just got, that's 57,000. We're paying off the loader, that's another 45,000, so that totals 157,766 in just the equipment for general and highway,
and all of that is gonna come out of our,
out of our equipment codes,
right,
yeah. And then we also have the $50,000 we need to set aside for the closing of the C&D.
Yeah.
So that's over 207,000 right there.
okay. And do we have other specific things that we know that are fixed that have increased, whether it's insurance, fuel, salt? Are there things that we already know that we're facing an increase on that
I would think the fuel would be one. I don't know what the fuel's gonna do, but that's definitely gonna be increased for driving the trucks around, yeah.
Um, we also know we have an increase in salaries because of contractual pay raises.
Well, that's union contract.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about insurance? Is it our insurance that going up or
I
something?
didn't get a quote on the NYMER insurance. I do have something from the, workers' comp, and that
Yeah.
actually went down.
Okay, I mean, we can go into the numbers. I was just trying to get a feel if there were categories or specific, things that we already know that are fixed, that we can't
Yeah.
cut. We have to
That
live
are
with.
definite.
Yeah, that are definite,
Yeah.
so. Okay, well,
So the way I wanted to do it was to go, like the point ones, that's everybody's salaries.
Mhm.
Union contract shows, it's an increase of 3.5%. So I went ahead and, plugged in numbers to give everyone 3.5% increase, because even with inflation, that's still not equaling that, so, cost of living's gone up. 3.5% of most salaries is not even $1 an hour more.
No.
Minimum wage went up to 14, I think it's 14.10 or 14.20, so, if, with 3.5%, the general fund salaries would equal, 288,530, all of the point ones,
Mhm.
with the 3.5% increase. And then I calculated what the social security would be, because that went up to 7.65% this
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
So those numbers, at the 3.5%, the social security number is a fixed number. So if you're in agreement with that, there were two categories that I did want to adjust the rate of pay,
Mhm.
besides the 3.5%. Meals on Wheels, we're going to lose our Meals on Wheels driver in January because she's going down to Florida. And that has been paying minimum wage, $13.20 an hour.
Mhm.
I wanted to increase that to 15, which is 80 cents more than minimum wage.
Mhm.
If we're gonna try and attract somebody to drive just for 2 hours a day, 3 times a week. In the past, I've done it, and town clerk has done it, secretary's done it, even Pat has done it when we didn't have anybody.
Exactly.
But I think we should look to get somebody.
Mhm.
And then the other category I wanted to change was the court clerk.
Yeah.
I'd like to raise her to at least 16.50 or 17 an hour, because she's been here for years,
Yeah.
and she is very good at what she does.
Mhm.
And I just think, and I can do that. That can happen with the budget without increasing it because of the amount of hours that they work.
Right.
The budget amount can stay the same while we pay them a higher rate,
Mhm.
so. Do you have any questions about any of the point ones at all, or salaries? Are you okay with the 3.5%? Yeah, okay. Okay, then the point twos is equipment. On the general fund side, Justice has 1,500 for equipment, Animal Control has 100, and the Highway Superintendent has 1,200. I put them in the budget as the same exact numbers.
Mhm.
And then on the highway side, capital outlay, 250,000, bridges is 5,000, which is usually moved to cover something or if there's an excess somewhere else,
Right. Mhm.
unless he works on the bridge. And machinery equipment's 50,000, brush and weeds is 2,000, and then the other major equipment line is 100,000. And on this budget, they are all the same.
Mhm.
You know, what I don't see is the garbage truck. Does the garbage truck come out of a different code? Does it come out of, .4? Maybe that should really be a .2.
Yeah.
Right at the 78,000.
8160.4.
Yeah, that, shouldn't that be .2 for equipment? Like I should have another line item for the,
Which line?
Refuge and garbage, the truck.
the truck, where, it's page 3.
Yep, getting there.
Down on the very bottom.
Okay.
So the garbage truck payment is going to be 55,354.
Right.
So that, part of that 78,000 should be in a .2 for the truck. I think so anyway. 55,354. Okay. Right?
So
Are you
point
with-
ones are salaries, point two are contractual, point four is what?
No,
again?
.2 is equipment.
Point two is equipment.
Yeah.
Point four is contractual,
Yeah.
sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
So I'm
confused.
gonna break that 78,000 out and add a .2 to the refuse and garbage section for the truck. So it's separated from the
Okay.
contractual.
Yeah, it's 55, you said?
It's 55,354 and 45 cents. So all the .2s are pretty much the same as they were the year before. Nothing's increased really. We won't be buying any more big equipment until this is paid off. 2024 is our final payments on all three, the garbage truck, the second truck the highway got, and the loader. And we'll be done in 2024. And that'll open up a lot of money then.
Oh, yeah.
But we will still be having to put the 50,000 away for 10 years for the closing of the C and D.
Until we get, unless we can find someone to do it,
Mhm.
might be out there. I'm sure there's something out
For what?
there. Help us get it off.
Oh, yeah, there's gotta be some kind of grant or
I
something
think so.
available for that.
So, getting back to the salaries, the bookkeeper, you said you wanted to raise her to how much an hour? Kathy?
3.5% of what she's making now. So you want the hourly rate? I mean, that
Well-
number,
The bookkeeper or the court clerk?
No, the bookkeeper, because it looks like what we've got in here is like a 50% raise.
well, because it says 20,288,
Yep.
and that was the original budget, it was modified to be 28, because it was at, I don't know, like 14 or $15 an hour with a 30-hour week, and
Yeah.
there
Okay,
wasn't
they
enough
changed
in
it.
that, and that was adjusted to cover. So it would be 1760, it'd be going up 60 cents.
So we probably should, well, so I'm just thinking someplace we ought to put a footnote to say that there was a modified
Yeah,
amount, so that somebody doesn't look at this and think, oh, we just increased her
Right.
salary.
well, this is our worksheet, the real budget will look like this from Williamson Law. It's just confusing to look at, but it has a line for adopted budget and modified,
Okay,
Yeah.
so it will show on that, on what
Gotcha.
we print out final, it will show.
okay. So what's the current number for the bookkeeper?
Currently, it's 28,288.
Okay, gotcha. And I was just looking at the justices, the number that were for tentative for 2023, that's not a 3.5% pay raise.
The justice,
Yeah. 59, 51,
No, that's only,
35.
oh yeah, it would be 6160.
Yep.
yeah.
So, I
We
mean, to be consistent with everybody
No,
else,
we could fix that.
we'll make that 6160.
Yeah, and look at justice, oh, and then for the, justice clerk, with that same amount of money, I could pay the extra hourly.
Okay, that's
But
fine.
she's good, but you're right about Sheila, yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
So if we're gonna change her hourly rate, we need to do that during a regular board meeting.
Right.
Through resolution.
yeah,
Okay.
I'll
that's
just
fine.
put that little note next to here,
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
change rate, okay, and then the Meals on Wheels, so.
Looks like the rest of these.
Meals on Wheels, change rate. Okay. And then, what else is a point two?
The engineer contractual, we're going to the 20,000, is that what you said we were gonna stick with, or?
Engineer, yeah, but was it, is the budget 20,000? I thought it was 10.
Yeah, cause I thought that's what you wrote before, it was
Yeah.
10,000. Besides the work that we're proposing to do on the planning for the garage,
It's 15.
what else do we need to have the engineers do this year? Do we have to do anything with the landfill? Or any of
No,
that
other
stuff?
than put that money away, no.
We just have to put the
But they
money
do
away.
water sampling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's routine stuff, but
Yeah.
is there anything else we're envisioning that we're gonna ask them to look at this year besides the garage?
No,
Okay.
we really can't
Yeah.
afford any other projects.
I agree, I just wanted to make sure that we were
Yeah.
covered for whatever we're
Yeah.
planning to
Yeah.
do, okay.
Well, the 20,000, that's 5,000 more, but then I also have an extra 10 I put in the contingency, so in case it is higher, we have somewhere to move it from, because that's 20,000 now, that we
Okay,
can cover stuff with.
okay,
Or we could increase it if you want, but we're already, it all depends, because we do need to decide about, the Office of the Aging, if they aren't going to do the bus anymore, which they're not, they discontinued that.
Right.
Should we be changing that in our budget? What do we plan to do? That's where that money went. It used to go to pay for that.
Mhm.
I mean, unless we have some indication that they're gonna resurrect that in some way, there's no point in leaving it in here. We could probably just zero out that line item,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that'll save us some.
It's 7,500, right?
Well, maybe because they did also say that they might keep a bus for emergency uses. I'm assuming they mean doctor visits or something like that.
Mhm.
Do you want to leave 1,500 just in case?
Sure, we can do that,
Okay, so we will make this 1,500.
okay.
Now that money that we're saving there, 6,000, we can put that in with the engineer if you want.
I think that makes sense because,
Yeah.
well, before we do that, how much of our attorney contractual have we used this year?
About half.
Okay, so we're gonna be okay for next year.
Well, we do have maybe a little bit more bills by the end of the year, but we'll be
Yeah.
fine as far as staying
Okay.
under that
All
amount.
right, good,
Yeah.
okay. I see you dropped the buildings, oh no, that's point one, sorry. Contractually, you bumped that up. Is that because we're gonna paint and do other stuff? or-
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As far as painting goes, are we looking to contract that out, or how are we planning, are you thinking we're gonna do that?
I think we'll do it ourselves.
Do it
We've had a lot of people who
Have
do
a
it.
work- A work day?
Yep, yeah, and there's a lot of people who've offered to volunteer their time.
Yeah.
You ever seen me paint?
Hmm?
You ever seen me paint?
Well,
It's not pretty.
I used
You
to
can
do a lot
pick
of
up the
painting.
pizza.
I used to do a lot of painting for the
Yeah.
high.
I'll hold the can, you run the brush.
I'll get a sprayer.
There you go. Yeah.
One of those little wagon sprayers were good. They were good on that, yeah.
I worry about that making such a mess though, the sprayer. I've seen them in the
Not
store.
on a calm day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as long as the wind's
Yeah,
not.
they'll work fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? We
A
could
brush
definitely do that.
Brush on is good too.
Pat said I can't
Um,
climb the ladder.
Yeah.
So the salary though for the buildings, you dropped that from 12,000 to 6,800,
That's because this money is for the person who's cleaning the building, and
okay?
we didn't use that much.
And what about maintenance, for a maintenance person, I mean?
Well, we could do that.
I mean, I just don't wanna cut us short if we decide we need, I mean,
Yeah,
we always had a maintenance person in the past, and we talked about having one, we just never hired one.
right.
I mean, do we think we need one?
Well, depends what you want them to do, I imagine, because so far, highway's been helping
Yeah.
do a lot of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like putting up the sign there, putting the light bulbs in, they've done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And other maintenance I'm thinking that we should do is fix the sidewalk for one thing. And those railings over there need to be replaced, but that's simple.
And most
And
of
the
that,
wall, oh, we have a retaining
Not
wall.
in shop.
that's mostly material, so that's gonna
Yeah.
come out of contractual.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
In shop is a lot cheaper.
okay. So any more on, let's see, we're on point two still? The equipment, and we're on contractual, okay. So, town board contractual, we have no new board members, so I kept that the same.
Okay.
Except for the salary part, that went up.
Mhm.
Town justice, I kept that the same. Supervisor, I kept that the same. Tax collector, I raised that 500 because postage is going up.
Right.
Okay.
And, I did get her the PO box, and
Right.
tomorrow I'll be picking up the computer, and Mike Colvin is coming tomorrow afternoon to fix all that. Okay, so then the others, like the assessor, the town clerk, the attorney, their contractuals all stayed the same. The engineer went up and may go up a little more with that 6,000. The elections went up $250 to $1750. Okay, buildings went up to 56. Let's see. Unallocated insurance, I'm not positive about that number yet. I have it increased $266, but I'll have to call and see if they can give me an estimate,
Mhm.
because we really need to know what that's gonna be.
Mhm.
Contingency went up $10,000. Dog control stayed the same. The ambulance, I have it in here for 50,000, but that is something that I think we need to discuss maybe after we talk to the public
Mhm.
about what we wanna do.
Yeah.
I mean, they did come here and they said now that their district isn't going to make any change in us,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but I do think I'd like to get public opinion on some of that,
Mhm.
on the EMS. Okay, garage, 20,000. That's just for their repairs over there and for their electric and lights, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I kept that the
It's
same
a
too.
mess. Oh.
That's the same, the street light kept the same, veterans, 250 is the same. Programs for aging, we talked about, that we may not need. Tourism is the same. And the youth, I have the youth in for 1625, which is the same. However, this year we did get more, we got 2,600. So I think whatever it is on the revenue, the youth revenue, let's see. There were no numbers on the youth revenue. So I think we'll keep it the same, because if we do get more money, it's a reimbursement program. So as long as we stay under what we're allowed to use,
Mhm.
it's in and out.
Okay.
The historian, I increased to 1,100 because she'll have Ancestry.com. I'm hoping lots of people come and
Mhm.
discuss looking up their ancestors, so she'll need more paper, ink, and possibly a printer. The garbage, we talked about that, 78,000, but that includes the garbage truck, so I'm gonna move some of that to the .2.
Okay.
Cemeteries lowered back down to 1,000. It was up to 10,000 for the tractor and the trailer, so we don't need that money in there anymore.
Hold on just a second. You got ahead of me. I was writing a number on page 2.
Oh, that's okay.
What, cemeteries.
Page 4, yeah.
Okay, so we dropped the contractual to 1,000.
Yeah,
All right, and that's enough to cover gas and repairs and stuff we need?
mhm,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, in 2021, it was 700, so I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
And then we have the .8s. State retirement stayed the same. Social security, that's based on the .1 total times 7.65%, which is the rate, so that's pretty accurate number there. Workers' comp, 7,000. Unemployment, we haven't had anybody on unemployment, I left that blank. Disability, 600, stayed the same. And medical is, less on here, it was pretty high, 38,000, we didn't come close to that. So there are 3 people, I think, 3 people general fund side that are on insurance, so 25,000 will be enough there. Okay, do you have any comments before we move to highway?
No.
Okay. The highway .1 salaries is set in stone union contract, 3.5%. That will bring it to $480,600 total. There's really no room to move on that.
Where are you, I'm sorry, which page? Because you said 480.
Oh, yeah, so, well, the 480, that includes all the .1s, so there's the general repairs,
okay.
there's the snow removal, and there's,
Okay.
brush and weeds,
you
I
told
added
me.
them all together.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see that number, I was.
Yeah.
You lost me for a second. Okay,
I just told them to do the percentage of social security,
okay, so all .1s,
all .1s are 3.5% increase.
okay.
.2 is capital outlay, that's 250,000. Bridges, 5,000, they all stayed the same. Equipment, 50,000. Brush and weeds, 2,000, and capital outlay equipment, 100,000. So there are 2 vehicles, the truck and the loader. Well, actually, the loader should be being paid this year. They should have that loader. So, but we still have another payment to make next year, so that's part of that.
So the truck and the loader are coming out of which line item?
The loader can come out of the 50,000 because the dollar amount for the loader is 45,426 each year.
So that's out of 5130.2. So this is, okay, the loader's there.
And then the truck number 2 that they just got is 56,985. So that still leaves the highway 44,000 for something else they may need.
So
far as equipment.
which line item are we taking the truck out of?
The truck will come out of the 100,000, it's on the next page, 5197.2. I don't know why there's 2 equipment codes, but that's how it was originally.
Okay.
So.
And that one's 57,000. Okay. And that's 45,000.
Okay, so. Okay, so then, do you have any .2 concerns at all? No? Okay. So then we'll move to .4 contractuals, general repairs. That is 60,000. I increased it because they do a lot of repairs. I mean, welding, they've had to pay $9,000 for welding.
Till we get some more equipment.
Yeah,
Right.
It's gonna
I mean, they'll have 2 new trucks now instead of 1, so that should go down, but some of that older equipment,
It still needs a lot
yeah,
of work.
Okay.
And bridges contractual, that's always the same, $5,000. Machinery, $100,000, that's the same. Brush and weeds, 2,000, it's the same. And snow removal, 150,000 for the salt. I kept that the same because I haven't gotten anything saying it's gonna be higher. Now the .8, the retirement, it's 60,000, slightly increased from the year before. Social Security, 38,448, that's because that rate went up and the wages went up.
Mhm.
So it's actually 36,766, I just rounded it up. Workers' comp, 8,000. Disability insurance, 1,000. Medical insurance, 80,000 for the current employees and 60,000 for retirees. That may move around a little bit as they've had some changes with the medical insurance, so more people will be on the Medicare Advantage
Yeah.
plan.
Oh, yeah.
And that may decrease. I'm still working on the enrollment, making sure everybody's where they belong,
Yeah.
because there's some, Blue Shield now doesn't want to cover a spouse whose husband is retired if they're over 65. They're forcing, well, no, they're forcing them to go on COBRA, actually.
Right.
Really?
They're not covering them,
Yeah.
yeah. So luckily, the one person we have in that situation only has 2 years till they're 65, so they can be on COBRA up to 3 years. The rate stays the same, the coverage stays the same, it's just called COBRA instead of insurance, the regular.
Yeah.
So these may get modified as I know exactly what plan people are gonna be in. I still don't know, but I will know before we do the actual budget,
Yeah.
before we adopt it, I'll know.
Okay, while we're in that section, the appropriated fund balance last year, I'm sorry, for, gotta look what year we're on here, for 2021, that number is actually, I'm sure you probably didn't have any place else to put it other than appropriated fund balance, but that actually represents the excess tax levy from the year before when they didn't pass the
Mhm.
resolution to exceed the tax cap.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear, because I don't want people to think that that was fund balance, because it's not.
Right.
It's actually an excess tax levy.
Mhm.
So, just if anybody's looking at this and they question that number, so.
But they never did get that back. Wasn't it used as that? Yeah, it was used as unexpended balance.
Yeah.
She coded it that way,
Mhm.
which I disagree with, but it's history, the money's.
Yeah, yeah, but the thing is, that the arrangement that they had was a loan. He loaned it to the general fund because there wasn't enough money to set that aside.
Right.
And he didn't get it back, the highway didn't get it back, and then the highway didn't get it this year either because it was used as unexpended balance to keep the tax rate lower than it would have been.
Right.
So they did lose that amount,
Mhm.
yeah.
So, where are we now?
Well, that's the whole budget, and so now we're over here on the summary page. What that's going to do to our rate, and, I mean, this is still subject to change. We gotta see what is our fund balance gonna be at the end of the year.
Mhm.
What do we plan to do with it if we have any? The sales tax did just come in for the third quarter.
How'd that look?
It looked good.
Good.
Yep, so we are 109,000 over what we
Wow.
budgeted for.
That's
Came
good.
to 500 and something.
As far as revenues for next year, and talking specifically about sales tax, given the way inflation and stuff is going, we probably, I saw you took a conservative number and put
Yeah.
350,000 in here, and I agree with that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
In the past, I think that we have grossly underestimated the amount of sales tax we've had,
Mhm.
which puts a burden on the taxpayer to make up the difference.
Yeah.
But I think this year, given the way the economy is trending, I think that's a smart thing to do because,
That helps people.
yeah,
Yeah.
we don't wanna get caught
No.
next year with, not getting as much
That's the
sales
thing,
tax.
it's not set in I mean, we had a banner year, and that
Yeah.
Ice Castle really bumped it up,
Yeah.
and a lot of things, you know.
Yeah, well, the economy, I mean, for the last few years, it's been, I mean, despite COVID, it's been doing very
Right.
well. So sales tax has been exceeding expectations all the time. But I wouldn't expect it to do that next year, given the way inflation and the economy's trending,
Right.
so.
Well, you know, but when it comes to sales tax, I did, it's not just on general fund. I have $100,000 in sales tax on the
Oh.
highway,
Okay,
so that's 400,000 altogether. Only because I know a lot of towns do it that way, and general fund does not get all their money in as property tax like the highway does. They have to wait for their sales tax revenue to come in, so I just thought if I split it a little bit, then the general fund would have more money coming in taxes. I mean, look at what the tentative
Okay.
tax is.
Yeah,
but still, even with that number,
It's still conservative.
it's
I
still
mean,
conservative compared, because the total sales tax that we're anticipating is 300,000 plus 100,000, so
Yep,
we're
400.
anticipating 400. And we're consistently above 450,000.
Yep,
So it's still a conservative number, okay,
yeah,
so.
general fund, our revenue is mostly sales tax and property tax. So all the rest is kind of small. I mean,
Yeah, the rest of the stuff is pretty small compared to those
Yeah.
numbers.
and chips, I put 250,000, but whatever it is, it's a wash. It's in and out. So as long as the revenue and the expenses are the same, if it's a little bit off and they have 269, they're going to spend 269, and they're going to get reimbursed. So.
Yeah.
And they'll be doing that before November 22nd, so they'll have this year's reimbursement. December 15th will be when the check is cut. So they'll be starting the new year with even keel balance.
Okay, the DA 2300 Transportation Services, 269,713, that's the contract with the county, and that hasn't changed.
That's the chips, right? 23?
No, chips is down, DA 3501, state aid,
Oh, I see, yeah.
that's 250,000, you got that.
Oh, this is the money from the county
Yeah.
for snow and ice.
Right,
Yeah, I think that was a 3-year contract, the snow and
Okay.
ice.
so it hasn't changed.
Mhm.
So,
Because I have a note on my contract to discuss that, because with costs going up for fuel and everything else, I think this number should go up. We should be
Everyone
getting,
else would do
we
it.
should be
We
getting
should be
more
able to do
money
it, right?
because,
Don't you think?
Say that
I
again.
think we should be able to increase that too. I mean, all the other companies are doing it because of the inflation and the price of fuel.
That-
This contract was 3 years. It's the same with the landfill.
right,
We're really paying more.
Right.
You know, and it's going, and we don't know what the
Mhm.
contract is gonna be, but it might not be there until January.
when.
Have you ever heard anything, have you?
no, but I did get something at a county meeting about, the county would like to be able to do the hauling.
No, I
At
hope
a-
so.
at a
That's
much
exact-
reduced
We could
cost.
save money if they did.
Yeah.
That's what
It
hurts
was like
us.
269, I think, instead of the 375,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that would work out well, if they got trucks and were able to do that.
We really
towns
need
would
to
save a
sit
lot of
down
money.
and discuss up there too, as far as the process that we go through, so that we could cut our expense.
Mhm.
Because I think there's things we can do, legally do it, and
Yeah,
cut some costs. But we won't know until we get the final contract. Last year, I never got it until after January,
Hmm.
and the prices all went up.
yeah,
And,
and then they tried to charge surcharges on top.
oh, yeah.
And that was another thing with our trucks, we're gonna have a surcharge on that
Oh,
garbage
yes,
truck
yes,
too.
there's no doubt. That's
I'm
why I
just
say
hoping
these contracts that are going up.
So, at this point, you need to plug in the numbers we talked about changing tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Yep.
one we kinda left hanging was the engineer's contractual,
Oh.
that was
we're gonna
at
put the
20,000, are we gonna put that 6,000?
I wrote it next to it, yeah, I did write it next to it,
Okay.
we can do that.
So then let's do that, and then you'll plug the numbers in and print new budgets for the hearing on Thursday.
Right, and I did do a sheet, I'm sorry, I did that. See, what I'm hoping will help a lot of people is the increase in the taxes. It's higher than they're used to, definitely. But with the garbage truck coming, if the whole town board discusses it and agrees to have curbside pickup, people will be saving, if it's $45 a month, they'll save $540 over the course of the year, which brings them to almost a $250,000 assessed value home. It'd be a wash. They'd save on one end, pay on the other, and it'd be a wash. And
But if we go to curbside pickup, and I haven't talked to you guys about this, so I don't know what your thinking is really. And I'm very much in favor of it as long as we can make the numbers work.
yeah,
But we're talking about actually, well, we'll have the truck, but we're talking about having to hire somebody because we gotta have a driver and a pickup person, right?
well, we've had offers of people who already work here,
Yeah.
so their pay is already in this budget. They would take time out to do it. It wouldn't cost us more in salary. It would cost us more in fuel.
Right.
Sure.
It'd take a day and a half. I think you said it takes about a day and a half from when you did it before.
Usually I can do it in a day and a half.
Day and a half.
Used to.
But also it was said to me that when you have the new truck, you don't wanna let it sit either. It should be driven.
Yeah.
So it's just something, you know, we'll have to get all the numbers together, but
We really need to have another meeting at, at the landfill transfer, because there's probably a lot of other things we can do, like combine the recyclables with the truck and let them sort them. According to them, that's what they do. You know, we wouldn't have to have a separate day for recyclables. Who's gonna wanna have curbside pickup and still have to go to the transfer station on the weekend? That won't go, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You gotta accommodate the taxpayer for everything, and it should be done. That's the word I'm hearing. That's what they like. I've heard
Okay.
a lot of good on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
but we have to accommodate the recycling, and I think we can do it with the truck.
Okay.
And not add any extra time to the pickup,
Okay.
okay? It's just something we have to all discuss and decide what to do, you know?
Well, I'm hoping to have that truck by the end of the year,
And
he said.
price increase on some of the stuff out there, and like I said,
Mhm.
after last year, everything went up, we didn't get the contract till, well, it might have been there, I don't know. It could have been there, and I just didn't get it, so I don't know, you know, before we finished our budget.
Yeah,
It's pretty expensive, so,
I'm sure.
yeah, tires. Yeah.
getting rid of them, yeah. We might have to charge more per tire.
Oh, yeah, I talked to
So
people.
we'll have to
that come in
discuss
and-
that,
Yeah,
charge
yeah,
them.
we need to have a meeting on the
Mhm.
transfer station sometime, if you guys don't mind, you know.
Oh, I
Absolutely.
don't mind. We have to
Okay.
figure out, you know, if we're losing money on that, that's.
Oh, I think we are.
Mm-hmm,
I mean, we might be gaining it on other revenue on other stuff, but we're not
yeah.
keeping up what we should be on certain items, you know. Okay?
Yep.
Okay.
So then I'll
Sounds
work on
good.
getting accurate medical insurance costs for each fund, you know, to make sure we're in the right spot there. And I also need to check on the NYMER insurance too, and see what that's gonna be. Okay,
All right.
so what do you think? We're good? Anything else you wanna talk about?
Public hearings Thursday, we can present it and see if anybody,
Thursday, that's the night, right? You said you
Thursday night.
decided on the night?
Yeah, oh no, 9th is, that
it's
public
the-
information meeting,
it's this Thursday, the third.
The third,
2
11
days.
three.
2 days from now.
Okay, what time is that?
I think it was 6
Six.
PM, so people that work can come.
Okay.
So the other information one, you rescheduled that to the 9th.
To the 9th.
11/9.
I
And
think,
what time?
I think that's 6 too,
6 o'clock.
so people can come,
Okay.
you know, better if they
Yeah,
wish.
that's a good idea.
And I did get new sheets from Cedarwood. He actually scaled them down, they're about this big now,
Nice.
and he made a lot of copies. that show all the landfill locations and the pros and cons, so typed right into it.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. And then-
Could I get a copy of those from you before?
Yeah, I have them right upstairs, I'll get them for you.
Okay, yeah, let's take a look at them.
Looks good.
All right,
Alright, so then we need to adjourn, motion to adjourn, we don't even need motion, right, we just adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Okay. It sounds like a plan.